Hi folks, welcome to CineMunn Podcast. I am your host, Vince Munn. This is our 6th episode. I am joined tonight by Tom Metropolis.
Thanks for having me.
And Benjamin Briggs.
Hey everybody.
The hell's so funny?
I don't know if you got a giggle. Sorry.
We're a little tired today, so this show might be a little more random than usual. Not much news going on, but we have done a little bit of picking and digging and found a few little things to talk about tonight. First thing to come up, recently it was announced by Paramount that Roberto Orci has left the production of Star Trek 3 in pursuit of other projects. I think it was a mutual decision between Orci and Paramount Studios, and he has been replaced by director Justin Lin of the Fast and Furious franchise. It has also been stated that they would be ejecting his script as well. It's understandable, obviously, as the previous director, he would use his own work, and now with the new director coming on board to helm the film instead, they are deciding to scrap his storyline in favor of something new and fresh. Now, the movie is still keeping its July 8th, 2016 deadline. That's going to make it very under the gun, and I just hope the production doesn't suffer. Tommy, what are your thoughts on Justin Lin jumping into Star Trek 3?
My thing is, what being the script is still the same, or a script hasn't been established?
I believe they are going to... They have a draft, they have a basic story direction, I believe, and now with Orci gone, I think they're going to start back over from scratch.
Just, to me, what comes to mind is, like, Justin Lin, if he's going to bring part of the cast of Fast and the Furious with him, I just think that'd be
Vin Diesel's Klingon.
Hilarious. But in all honesty, I think kind of with his track record of films, I know of Fast and Furious being most of them, I don't really have that distaste for him. So I think he would be appropriate to do Star Trek. And it's like even the first two have kind of portrayed as being fun. They're action, but they're also fun. And, you know, you can pick that up from his former movies. So I'm interested to see it. I want to see what he can do with it. Ben?
Can't wait, man. Ever since, the first one with Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth. And wait, no, that's...
Chris Hemsworth was
right.
He played Father George Kirk in the first 10 minutes.
Mixed up.
And died. Spoilers.
Spoilers! Come on, man.
Come on, if you haven't seen Star Trek
in the beginning.
What the hell?
Wow.
Really? Really? Anywho.
But anyway, I'm always up for another Star Trek film. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. So we're going to have a lot of fun. I am looking forward to the Enterprising doing some Tokyo drifting across the galaxy. So can't wait to see how that...
You're going to see a lot of Sulu gear shifting, They're going to get out Nogs the engineering system. They're going to jump off a bridge with parachutes and such. Wait, they did that in the first one.
Pink slips.
We're going to get the Rock. We're going to get him somewhere.
Right? As the Gorn. It'll be the Rock as the Gorn fighting.
No. I hope that some of the Big Bang cast makes a cameo somewhere, somehow.
That would be kind of fun.
Well, again, still got to keep it in line with being an actual film.
You think they get
too far?
You think they get Channing Tatum in there?
Yeah, man.
Channing Tatum?
Yeah, because I believe Lynn also directed Step Up, like the first Step Up film, which kind of launched Channing Tatum's career in Hollywood.
There you go.
I don't know.
I don't know if that would be Channing Tatum's forte, though, to do Star Trek.
But look at his resume right now. I mean, Lego Movie, Step
Lego
Up,
Movie,
22 Jump Street.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Is Jump Street. I think he has more fun with those kind of films. It just seems Star Trek seems more of that. It's geared into a different direction.
But he's even. I mean, sorry to go off topic, but even Tatum is pushing, wanting to play Gambit for X-Men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was campaigning. That's sort of
Jack Gambit.
Campaigning.
That's right. I recall hearing Channing Tatum and some involvement with X-Men and that whole deal going down.
There's something in the tea today, man.
Right? My wife made tea tonight, and so apparently we're all
So it's all her fault.
It's all her fault, yes. Dear thing.
I didn't know Jack Daniels made herbal tea.
He should.
It's delicious.
You wouldn't remember it, but it was great. Okay, so moving on to our next topic for the night. We've spoken our piece on Star Trek 3. Benjamin has done some digging and looked into the top box office for the weekend. Benjamin, what'd you find?
Woo! Alright, well, top box office earnings for
What's box office?
Box
There we go.
office for December 26th-20. So I thought we'd play a little game, see if you guys can guess the top 10 of what we got here. I know somebody's been doing some research, so somebody already knows the top 3. But
I do some reading too.
Weekend or gross?
Weekend.
Just the
Okay,
weekend.
just the weekend.
So since we won't go into the top 3, but what do you guys think? We'll start with Vince. What do you think?
I would say that I'm trying to remember what's out right now. Ah, damn. Annie, I think.
Annie is currently number 5 with 16,600,000.
The Hobbit.
Well, God, you already know how. Number 1 is Battle of the Five Armies with 41,420,000.
Jeez.
Damn.
Feel free to jump in if you want.
Yeah,
Sorry.
anytime.
Otherwise, this guy's just going to cheat. 'Cause he already
No,
knows
I'm just
the
gonna
other
listen to him
Alright.
fall on this. But
Theory of Everything.
yeah, Theory of Everything was one I was thinking of.
No.
two. Theory of Everything was in the top 20,
The wrong thought in my head.
but not in the top 10.
Hunger Games, that's still up there.
Hunger Games Marking J Part 1.
Mockingjay.
Mockingjay
It's the T,
Part 1.
folks.
It's, I swear.
Wow, there's some in the water.
Never drinking lemon
If you have
ginger
tea in
tea.
San Diego, you might.
Don't.
Oh, I should
Don't.
pour mine out.
Don't. It's bad
So why are
stuff.
you giggling then? You don't have yours anymore. Why are you?
No,
giggling?
I didn't drink it yet.
So what the hell?
Shit.
So,
Alright.
so Tommy's
Alright.
the only one making
So-
sense on this one.
Is
But
he?
Hunger
Thank you.
Games was 10 million even.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Imitation Game. Did we talk about that one yet?
Imitation Game was number 8 at 7,930,000.
Exodus, Gods and Kings.
Yeah.
Access Gods and Kings number 9 at 6,750,000.
Really? So it's top 10.
Yeah.
We're still
around
missing
the holidays too. Just
Right.
the top 4. We're seeing number 4, number 7, and number 10. And number 2 and 3, but you already know.
You're gonna have to fill those in
This
because
is-
I'm all tapped
he's
out.
the one that has all the answers.
All right. So what's number 2 and number 3?
Number 2, I would guess, is Into the Woods.
Close. Number 3 is Into the Woods is number 3 at
That's right, that did come
31,021,000.
Okay.
Is it actually? Oh yeah, American Sniper has.
No, American Sniper's not a wide release.
No, but I think that might have been in the top 20.
That's fine. Yeah. Number 2.
Number 2 was Unbroken with 31,748,000.
Wow. Number 4.
You want to take a guess, Tom?
Tommy is number 4. If you remember that movie.
That's right. Tommy Boy,
Oh, no.
actually.
Tommy Boy. There we go. Here's a good one. No, number 4. What do you have?
Night at the Museum, Secret
That's
of the
what
Tomb.
came out. That's what I was
That's
thinking
right.
of.
I was thinking. I was like,
Dang it, I was like,
gotta
there's
be another
something
movie
in
that
there
came out, too.
That came out that I kept seeing trailers for annoyingly over and over again. And that's what it was.
It came out with 20,600,000.
I think it was like one of the last 2 completed films of Robin Williams.
And
Missing number 7 and number 10.
I was about to say, like, what if number 10 was impacted with the theatrical release of The Interview, but I doubt that's on there.
Interview was in the top 20, but not.
Top 20?
Yeah.
I'm sure it found some money.
Yeah.
Between online and
Well, yeah,
theaters that,
of course.
that did show it. You got me, man.
Man,
I'm
there's
tapped
that
out on the
many
guesses.
shit.
Any last guess?
No, you won.
Number 7, which I was kind of disappointed that it got beat out by a few things, but The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg,
That's true.
9,300,000, and number 10, which I'm pleasantly surprised and I'm looking forward to seeing, is Wild with Reese Witherspoon at 5,415,000.
Wow. It's actually a little surprising that The Hobbit's still number 1.
Well, you know,
I mean, you've got like Unbroken kind of plays to your more emotional holiday kind of not necessarily family film, but something that a family will go see together. Even Into the Woods, I thought would break a little higher, but maybe most of that's from people debating stage and film.
Yeah.
Which one's better?
It's been kind of tricky with film adaptations of plays.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you look at... Sweeney Todd actually had a good adaptation from the play.
I
mean,
love Sweeney Todd.
I knew some people that liked it.
Fun.
I have seen a bad one though, and I think back in 2007 or 2008 there was a movie called Bug. Talks about paranoid schizophrenia.
Yeah, that's Michael
And
Shannon, Ashley Judd. Yeah, I saw that.
To me, I'm not sure what they did with the film, if they rushed it. I mean, I kid you not, we probably talked about this previously. There's a scene you can see the frickin' boom mic just at the top of the frame, and I'm like, yeah. So what happened with the whole post editing process? You guys just kind of saw that and be like, this is a movie about paranoid schizophrenia. Let them just be all crazy about it. But another thing, and I actually brought it up just a moment ago. I was wondering, do you think those numbers might have been affected if the interview was released?
No,
theatrically.
I
mean, where would the interview fit in the top 10? It would have been in the top 10.
It would have been in the top 10, but I think it would have been further back. I think it would have been between 6 and 9.
6 and 9, yeah.
I think that's where it would have fallen.
Because
it's not really like, again, holidays, when you're on holidays, you're with your family for the majority of the time.
That's true.
So that's not really, the interview isn't, a big, let's all as a family go see a movie about North Korea.
Yeah, I was kind of questioning its scheduled release for Christmas Day. I was like,
well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of movies that do that are kind of a little bit darker films, I think, that come out. Like Django Unchained came out, I believe, on Christmas Day as well.
Well,
it was last year?
I think so.
I believe it was
or Christmas.
Well, as far as dark films go, Into the Woods is supposed to be that kind of fix of the dark kind of
a little bit, but
grim
it's
tales.
a little more serious take on the grim fairy tales.
So,
but
it's still got that family oriented kind of vibe.
Yeah,
to it.
stage show. It's a musical. It's got a familiar cast.
Familiar cast, and I've heard some of the performances. I mean, I'm seeing it's up for best actor, actress, a couple things too. It's been nominated
best
already.
Film, comedy or musical.
Yes, absolutely, and it's definitely one I wanted to go see. It's just it's kind of tricky sometimes around the holidays.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of top box office, Ben, what's your top films of the year?
Well, let me tell you. I only have top 8. Don't have a top 10.
8. All right, that's fine.
Number 1 for me that I saw this year.
You gonna start at the bottom, or are you gonna go straight to it and go number?
All right,
1?
that's a good point. We'll flip it around.
Speaking of number 1.
What?
Go ahead.
Okay. Number 8 was Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Loved it.
Number 7 was New Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
Just got to see that.
I think that will come to be a more appreciated film. I think as time goes on.
Yeah. It was fun.
Fun.
I'm still a fan of the, like I say, I'm still a fan of the 90s, but
film.
I liked it. It was good. I had fun with it. Number 6, which I really liked, was Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs Part 2.
Nice.
I think I'm still more of a fan of number 1, but, that's just me. Number 5 was the Lego Movie. Addicting soundtrack, if I must say so.
Very.
You
like the Batman song?
That's right. I love darkness. Number 4 was Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 3, which I liked it because it had more of a storyline, was The Purge Anarchy. I mean, it wasn't just the first. I never saw the first one, but I saw the second one. I really liked following the story. It just wasn't, random killings and mob mentality and all this stuff. It actually had a nice, decent storyline you could follow behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, which I loved the first one when it first came out, and just really inspired me to get back in martial arts, was The Raid 2. Man, some of the stuff these cats do, and the talent that they had in there was just... there's so many great fight scenes for anybody who's ever seen it. It's just... I
have not seen The Raid 2.
I highly recommend it.
I don't think I've seen The Raid. You've been telling me about The Raid for a couple of years now, but I have not seen The Raid.
The second one or the first one?
The first one.
It's pretty good. If you've seen the new Dread,
yeah,
it's The Raid and the new Dread kind of have a similar, pretty similar. I'd still say go see it just for the sake of seeing it because it's pretty good.
Because I know they're also doing, I believe they're in the works of doing an American remake of The Raid.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll keep.
I know. It's disappointing to some people.
That's okay. You know what? Everything with an open mind.
Well, it might be good because I'm like I see that and be like, no, it wasn't that good. But I hear there's the original one. I want to see that one instead. Maybe it's better.
There you go.
And then draws more people, draws more attention to it. Yes. American remake of The Raid.
Well, I was just gonna because 47 Ronin. It's, I mean.
Well, no, I mean like
remake too.
okay, like American remake that works is like, Let Me In.
Okay.
Was an American remake of Let the Right One In from Sweden. From
Yes, that's right.
Or The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was a remake of the same title from an older film with, from I think just maybe a couple years prior.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, sorry.
That's all good.
I
And
blame
number
Tommy for
one,
that.
and number one, which I think everybody should see as well, is Fury. Man, I've been telling people, you know, anybody who's seen Saving Private Ryan, you know, I'm gonna go out on a ledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go out the window,
sorry.
door, ledge.
Tripping over my words again. And say
Batman
that
again?
Fury surpasses Saving Private Ryan.
Really?
The only reason I say that...
Wow.
Hold on.
No, it's not a bad thing. No,
Whoa.
I'm like, wow.
Tom Hanks, Tom Sizemore, and, man, I'm forgetting there's one more cat in there.
Edward Burns?
There you go. Good cast. Great cast. I think the only difference is that with Saving Private Ryan, his platoon, his group of guys, there might be one too many guys in there. And with Fury, you know, you have the same 5 characters all the time. And I think you're confined constantly to this tank. You're constantly with these 5 guys, and you never get away from that, you know. And honestly, Shia LaBeouf really surprised me with his, no pun intended, transformation from the Transformers movies. And thank you. But no, he does a great job in this film. Brad Pitt does a really excellent job. John Bernthal, Shane from Walking Dead.
Yes.
He still kind of plays that same kind of character, but you still love him, and he's still kind of got that backwoods country bumpkin that you just, man, what a smart ass, you know.
Kind of hillbilly-ish, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, Michael Cera does a pretty good job. That's the only thing I will nitpick. This is just me being nitpicky.
Okay.
If you go see the film, when I'm trying to remember everybody. When Brad Pitt and I forget the actor's name, he's a childhood actor. Starts with an L.
Oh, Logan Lerman.
Thank you.
Yes.
When he and Brad Pitt are having dinner or lunch with the German woman there, all 3 of the other guys come in. Michael Cera is wearing it looks like a very modern necklace in there. But like I said, it is a small nitpicky thing. Other than that, like I say, the movie I think is pretty good.
Okay.
Number 1, I would gladly see it again in a heartbeat.
Well, the nice thing, was seeing the way, because it was directed by David Ayer, and he's now with WB directing Suicide Squad, which is another gang of misfits, so to speak, like Fury. So, I mean, you see how well he created characterization, character development, and camaraderie between a group of tank soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes me excited what he can do with comic book characters. So, he's really his work with Fury, and even with End of Watch, which is a very strong film that's just very intense from start to finish. The work he's done with that, as far as making you feel part of it, is really the only thing selling me on Suicide Squad. Because honest to God, I could care less about Suicide Squad as a movie. Speaking as a movie fan, as a comic book fan, I could care less. I want to see the main heroes first,
right,
and then something a little more obscure and minute like that. That's a good list, though. I like that.
Thanks.
I like that. I mean, there's some stuff in there I even forgot about. I was like, oh wow, that's right. That did come
Granted,
out
those
this
are
year.
the only movies I've seen. I don't want everybody to think that's my top 10 or whatever. Those are the only movies that I got a chance to see.
Right.
If I had a chance to see more, my list might be different. But.
Tommy, what's your top?
Yeah, there are some movies you did point out that I wish I could have gone to, but like again, I was mentioning earlier, sometimes it gets a little rough.
Hard.
Yeah, so I did come with 8 that I could think of, and I'm more of geared towards the comedy, action, and sci-fi kind of genres. So that gives you a little idea of the selection I would have be shedding light on here. So at 8, I have John Wick, and to me, I really did not think that film was going to be as good as I thought it would, but it surprised me. I mean, it was basic concept, but just the way they made it work, it worked with. I'm not thinking of his name right now. Keanu Reeves. There we go. Keanu Reeves. You kind of have him as that, like, oh, he's the one. Well, and John Wick.
Really?
And John Wick, like, he you can actually feel a different character. That's what I'm getting at. It's like, you see him on screen, you might think that initially that, yeah, he's still playing that Neo kind of vibe, but yeah, you see John Wick and you're like, that's actually, this is a different story, so it's not like you're going to mix them up and stuff like that. So, another one I had fun with at number 7 is Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise, and that one just altogether great storytelling, and it was pretty creative, and I like the direction, the art design, all the things in there. The humor as well caught me off guard in that movie. That's one thing that made me laugh with that one. Number 6, I'm going to go with X-Men Days of Future Past. Definitely was a great cinematic piece. I like to see how that whole X-Men story arc kind of continues to flow, and I know me and you have gotten a couple debates on what the movie's continuing from, what's it not, and of course it takes a bit of time of explaining and getting down to what it is, but at the same time you appreciate a movie for if it's entertaining or not. It's just sometimes when you have movies so convoluting in story, you'll find yourself after seeing a show, probably whether it be the same day, a couple days later, you'd be like, what the hell just happened? And honestly, that kind of bugs me in a film. Okay. But then again, I'm a fan of the whole X-Men sci-fi genre, and so that's what I can give Days of Future Past. Number 6. Number 5, I'm going to go with the Captain America Winter Soldier. That at the same time, it is Marvel kind of being not goofy. It was a bit more serious as opposed to all the other Marvel films that I've seen.
It was a lot more serious.
It was a lot more serious. It surprised me. There was parts in the movie I was like, oh shit. I did not expect this from Marvel, but they stepped up their game, and it's still fun at the same time. But it brings that little taste of reality to, like, this is not the goofy first Avenger. This is like, he's all grown up now, so that you get that from there. Number 4 is the Lego Movie, and this was another movie that it caught me off guard. Took a chance in seeing it, but it was very great. I had fun with the animation, fun with the whole storyline, all the music, of course.
Could you say it was awesome?
Could say it was awesome.
Would you say that everything is awesome?
Everything is awesome.
I'm sorry we had to do that.
I got you.
You can't skip that shit.
No, you can't. And the top 3 for me is a little tricky, but I'm going to be saying my number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Even though I know for me, Guardians was definitely like rewatching Star Wars for the first time for me. And I did appreciate that feeling. That feeling would be like, I go to the movie theaters and I see something that can give me that nostalgic feel. I really do appreciate that. Not many films can do that. Because all stories nowadays, they feel so modernized and everything. Guardians of the Galaxy, even though it has a modern kind of aspect to it, it's still got that feeling of like the old. So I do appreciate that, because I know it is an old comic. Not many people know where exactly it came from. Yeah. I remember people saying, it's like, what is everybody here going to see? They're in line for what? It's like Guardians of the Galaxy. Does anybody know where Guardians of the Galaxy came from? Well, it's a Marvel movie, so it should be good. And that's the other thing. Marvel's done that. Their name has set a point to where it's like, if Marvel's associated with it, it's going to be good. But the other thing too is, to put that more clearly, you want to keep track of Marvel Studios and not just the Marvel name, because I mean, Fox, they do a good job with X-Men and stuff.
They've done a lot better with
But
X-Men.
Also, Sony can slap Marvel on Spider-Man and...
well, they have to, because it's still a Marvel character.
That's true. But yeah, Marvel Studios is ultimately what you would be following out of all that. Number 2, I'm going to say The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies. This one's a bit more on the drama side, but it's still... I appreciate it because I do like the Lord of the Rings trilogy saga, whichever you want to call it nowadays, with all 6 installments. But it just, some of the acting in there was incredible. And like the whole battle scene sequence, those were things that, to me, it's like, I want to see a movie, I want to see it eventful. I don't want to see just kind of movies dragging on or taking 40 minutes just to explain something that just happened that was very small or whatever like that. I actually, there's one of the worst movies this year is completely the reason or what I'm bickering about. It's if you don't mind me saying, it's the Oculus. Oculus, and those that came from the creators of Paranormal Activity. And Oculus was one of those stories that it fell on itself. It wasn't that eventful, so it kind of got stuck in a loop of trying to, like, this is what's happening, and then we forgot to explain this, or I don't know. And number one, I did not expect much of this film. This was another one that I just went out on a limb and said, hey, I kind of want to give it a look. I've seen the classics, and I didn't really feel much for the Tim Burton's Mark Wahlberg, but Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And that movie, just how far the Planet of the Apes story has come, and even the story itself about how the apes are trying to build their society, but they're also trying to maintain peace with the humans, because they know it's like they're not there to take over the world. Now, of course, some of the apes have that kind of ideology, but at the same time, and that's that struggle in that movie. And to me, I'm glad to have seen that, because I just felt like if I see another Planet of the Apes movie with that typical storyline, I want to be like, okay, so I already know what I'm watching. Yeah. But with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, how it presented that new take, it surprised me, and I could definitely say it was a number one for me this year.
Nice. Well, I do have a top 10. I really don't have them in any particular order. I mean, they'll probably fall into place as I go through it. But first one that pops into mind is Odd Thomas. It didn't release in theaters. It went straight to DVD, straight to Blu-ray, straight to Netflix even. And it's if you never read the Odd Thomas series from Dean Koontz, it's this kid who can basically see the supernatural around him. He's short order cook. He's got his girlfriend. He can see bad things around him in the spiritual world, and it was very different from what I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be, here Dean Koontz is like the West Coast Stephen King, so I'm like, okay, it's going to be scary and whatnot, and all. But it wasn't. It was very quirky and funny, and it was done by Stephen Sommers, who directed The Mummy and Van Helsing. So that kind of gives you an idea of where he takes a film, to where it goes right to the edge of you almost want to be scared, but it's still fun and upbeat and energetic, and it really took me by surprise. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was a great film. Really solid acting from Anton Yelchin, who's seen the Star Trek series, and like crazy, he starred as a child actor in Hearts of Atlantis. Really solid character work. I believed it. I bought it, and I would love to see him continue the series. That was a lot of fun for me. Chef. I don't know if either of you guys got to see Chef. It's a Jon Favreau one where he's
the food truck, right?
The food truck,
okay.
Yes. Yeah. Was a very good movie. Now, I'm working in the food industry for most of my life. It was a lot of fun to see it displayed in a very accurate way, from bad language to kitchen jokes to the way you feel about your food, to the passion about it, to the anger, to the dealing with your wait staff, to your kitchen staff. And he got to do something that I wanted to do for a while, is make a food truck the way you want to do it and have your own ideas and be your own boss type of deal and explore America. And it's not just about him being like a chef and he does great cooking, but it's about his relationship to his son. And that really kind of stood out to me as a great father-son type of film, where it's not just they go on a road trip together, it's sharing something together. It's sharing the older's passion with the younger and hoping that it has an effect on them and their life and their heart and the memory about, when the time comes when my father goes, what will I remember him for? I'll remember him for this. Not just what his name was as a public, but what he and I did together. And that's what I really think, if you look deeper into that film, is what kind of comes out of it. Next would probably be the Lego Movie for me. The Lego Movie was, when I heard about it, I thought, oh my god, they're actually going to take one of those cheesy Legos straight to
They're
DVDs
gonna-
and put it in the theater.
That's exactly.
And I was
my
like,
take.
oh man, this is going to suck. And then I saw the first trailer, and I was completely like mouth open, eyes wide, like, what the hell did I just see? And I couldn't wait to see it in the theater. And I laughed hysterically. And it was so fun and creative. And I suck at Legos. I really do. Like, I follow the instructions. I'm like Emmett was at the beginning. I follow the instructions. I'm not that creative with them. I'm not a master builder. But the fun they have with it, the way they integrated characters and all the different franchises from different time periods even, was so smart and fun. And it looked real. And I honestly believed it was a stop-motion film with the way they did it and everything. I believed it was a stop-motion film, and I found out it wasn't.
What they use?
They used it was mostly computer generated. Obviously, with certain shots were real Legos, certain bits were real Legos, but the majority of the film was actually computer graphics. And I was completely shocked. I was like, oh wow, really?
So they shortened the frame rate,
Yeah.
maybe, and so they generated it first, and then shortened the frame rate and cut out frames in between.
Yeah.
Okay.
To kind of give that kind of stop-motion-y look to it, and it sold it. I bought it, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god, they did a whole Lego movie in stop-motion with Legos. That's awesome. I'm like, no.
Oh,
It's amazing. It was amazing to me. So that's one that I was really excited about and really glad I saw. Next for me would be Dawn of Planet of the Apes. Dawn of Planet of the Apes, to me, continuing from Rise, which I think the title should be switched, actually, because it just makes more sense. If you think
To me,
about it.
I was the same way too. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's like, what are you going to go see? I'm going to see Rise. And wait, but Rise came out a
Rise
while
came out
ago.
like
It's
3 years ago.
Well, I'm going to see Planet of the Apes, so there's that. But no, it's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes,
Yeah.
so I'm like, shut up.
Well, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was a lot of fun. It's really building on the ape mythology that was started in the 60s with the Charlton Heston film, which I loved. I watched it as a kid. I watched them over and over again. I wore that tape. And I'm really hoping that, not with the next film, but let's say it becomes big enough of a franchise that 2 or 3 films down the line, it starts to go towards the movie that your parents grew up with, of Planet of the Apes. It starts to go in that direction. Just a little bit, just hinting at it. I don't want a full-blown, all the way in. But if you're just starting to we're looking down the path and we can see it coming, that's good enough for me. And this movie was a great push in that direction. As far as technology goes, as far as storytelling, like the first maybe 20 minutes of that movie is no dialogue. It's purely movement and action. And it's so good, and you buy it, and you believe it. And it's so well, and it is a shame. I know it's a great debate in Hollywood about, does motion capture acting qualify as acting? I will say yes.
Yeah.
I will say
absolutely.
yes. But I mean, the argument comes then, well, what about the graphic artist? I mean, obviously there's so much you can only do as a physical actor. Ben, you know that.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do as a physical actor before effects need to step in to add that element of realism. Like, yes, Andy can move as a bipedal animal, but when it comes down to certain animalistic movement and instincts, he can only do so much.
That's true.
And then the effects have to step in. So it's kind of like, where does the performance end? Where do the effects begin? And it blends together, really. And I still think it deserves to be recognized as performance, because it is performance. It is putting your heart, your soul, your physical body into something without dialogue. It's like being Buster Keaton or Chaplin. You're a silent film actor, basically. It's all the physical. It's the facial and the eyes and everything around, everything but words. And that's what I think makes it worthy of being a Best Actor nomination. I really hope that when we talk about barriers and things like that in film, that should be a barrier that is broken. Like they talk about segregation and race and gender equality. That's another one. Computer graphics is a barrier we need to break down in Hollywood.
Well, it's like that digital, not to sidetrack a bit, but like in the music industry, suffering the same thing when people talk about a DJ or talk about something like that. Now, I mean, not all DJs play other material from other artists. They don't just press the play button. They actually make this stuff, and they do tune it on a keyboard they do tune it on other instruments they have in the studio. When you go see them at a set, like for instance, what you're talking about, Andy Serkis, when you go see him in a movie, you're seeing the CG, you're seeing the actual performance piece. Same thing with, so music does have that kind of issue right now. When people see like a music pad or something, they're like, well, that's digital, that doesn't count. Well, technically, if you listen, or music is a set of melodies and harmonies, and it's like that defines music. So you acknowledge that CG motion. It's like that is acting. You got an actor in there doing mocap. It is a performance. It's acting.
It's acting.
It's putting your heart and soul into it.
Yeah. Next one would be X-Men Days of Future Past, like you brought up, Tommy. Fox is stepping up with that franchise, making it bigger, making it better, really improving the storyline. They actually have a direction now. They've set a direction, a pattern where they're going. Personally, I enjoyed the sequences that were set in the 70s more than I did the stuff in the future. That's just me. That's just my preference. I love the 70s style Sentinel that was purple and gray. It reminded me of the cartoon growing up, watching that, and the comic books. And it's like, yeah, they give me that nostalgic childhood feeling all over again. Like, yeah, that's what it would look like. And to me, that was a lot of fun. Nightcrawler, I got to recently see that not too long ago. Nightcrawler came out of nowhere for me. It was one that I had heard of. I'm not a big Gyllenhaal fan, so for me to go see that was like, I'll give it a try. And I was completely blown away by the whole performance he gave in that film. It was creepy and unnerving, and I loved it, and I want to see it again and again, over and over again. Okay, so finishing that one. My next film would be Foxcatcher. Foxcatcher for me was slow, same music over and over again, but it was purely a performance piece, getting you to that final 10-15 minutes of the film it was worth it. It was worth it to me. It's a slow-paced movie, but it's really a character study, and good God, if Steve Carell doesn't deserve an Oscar nomination for that film. The complete transformation, physically, vocally, is just great acting, and I'm so happy he finally did it. He finally took on a character that's completely opposite of what he is known for. I think a lot of comedic actors need to do that more. I think it would expand their horizons. I think it would expand the work they get and are offered in their careers, and really give you a different perspective, like when Robin Williams started doing darker films like Death to Smoochie, 1 Hour Photo, Insomnia. It really brought a different perspective to him and made him kind of creepy, and you respected him more as an actor even. My last two, Guardians of the Galaxy, like Tommy said, I will simply reiterate it, was like seeing Star Wars for the first time for me all over again. I could not believe it. As a comic book reader, it's one I've never really picked up and read. I've seen it, I've browsed it once or twice, but I never really got into the story, whatever the story was at the time that I had picked it up. But the way it was handled, the colors, the life, the joy, the fun you have with it, I haven't had that much fun in a movie in a while. It was purely fun. I think it's the only film this year that I have seen, gotten out of, got back in line to get a ticket, and went and saw it right over again. Damn. It's the only film that I can recall in recent memory that I've ever done that for. I could be wrong, but as far as I can remember right now, that's the only film for me. And it was awesome. It was touching. It had great moments. It obviously had great music, and it was used perfectly. It wasn't too much or too little. It was just the right amount, and I cannot wait to see what Marvel does with that franchise. And I think it's inspiring a lot of other franchises, like Warner Brothers obviously is moving forward with Suicide Squad. I think that is mostly because of how Guardians did. An obscure comic book series that no one's really looked at or cared about became this massive hit and is the #1 film of the year. As far as box office goes, the highest grossing film of 2014 will be a comic book movie about a comic book that no one really knew or cared about.
The other thing I just wanted to add on that is, you do appreciate the heroes and probably some other side characters, like whether it be from movie, video game, or what sort. But to me, I appreciated Lee Pace's performance as Ronan the Destroyer.
Yes.
So that, to me, was it. I mean, I'm familiar with Lee Pace and other films, but it's just that he fit this character and he made it his own. Obviously, the character comes from Marvel, but it's one of those characters. To me, I wasn't really thinking about Thanos, or I wasn't thinking about what kind of other characters and just how much thought's been put into him. It just felt like Lee Pace. He was fit for that role.
Yeah,
and he took it and he gave it. Yeah,
let's not forget Space Merle.
Space Merle,
yes. Merle.
Yes. Michael Rooker in anything is awesome. So giving him a great role like Yondu was inspired.
Yeah, but it doesn't have a mohawk though.
Right. My last film, and this will be the end of my top. I don't even know how many, probably 10 or 8 or 10. I haven't been counting. Please count for me and let me know in the comments. My top film of the year, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. As a fan, a very long time fan of Captain America, I've been wanting this film. I loved the book. I loved how they adapted it. Did they stay close to the source material? Yes. Did they do a perfect adaptation? No. And I did not want them to. It was perfect, beat for beat character. This is a completely different Captain America. This is someone who, at the beginning of the film, looks like he has compromised his own values to do the work he's doing, and finds his way back from that through seeing his friend again. And having to confront his friend in the worst way. Which is one thing you never want to do with someone who you consider a best friend, is have to confront them with high stakes. And the characterization, Chris Evans has just grown as an actor to me. Between that and another film that I left off my list that it should be seen, if you haven't seen it, Snowpiercer, you can find on Netflix, is an awesome, awesome film. Again, completely different from his work as Captain America. More serious, more gritty, more dark and very heavy-hearted, and great character work. And the man is just growing and growing. I think he'll be the star that he deserves to be. I think he's a fantastic actor. And the choices he's making with Marvel, as far as Captain America, and moving forward, progressing with them, having the contract with them, taking on that iconic role, is awesome. Scarlett Johansson, what can't I say about her? She's on my top 5 ladies list. Beautiful, great performance from her. Nothing more, nothing less. I expect nothing but greatness out of her. Anthony Mackie, adding him as Falcon and the way they did it, it wasn't cheesy. It wasn't the red spandex suit that people were thinking, or even that he was thinking himself that he wanted. They made it feel real. They made it feel like feasible technology, and that was awesome. Yeah. And I bought it. I was like, okay, I believe this guy can fly with wings. I get it.
So I know how to fool you.
Really? We're going down this road again? The whole thing, S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm not a big Robert Redford fan. I know a lot of movie people, that's like the cardinal sin. You know, Robert Redford's a legend in Hollywood. I am not a big fan of his. That's just my own personal preference, each to his own. I loved him in this film. And the only thing that disappointed me about the movie, I was waiting for him to rip his face off and be the Red Skull. That's the only thing I wanted to see. I was waiting and waiting for that moment, and when it didn't come, I was a little disappointed. But overall, that's my top films of the year. Captain America is my number 1. I watch it over and over again. I just watched it last night, actually. Someone came over. We watched that. And that was again, it's just as fun for me the 10th time as it was the first time. I love watching them. I look for new stuff, obviously. I enjoy it. The effects were good. The fight scenes were awesome. The music is great. It's very distinct, very different. And now I can't wait to see where they go from that into Avengers Age of Ultron, which is one of my top 5 for next year, for 2015. Age of Ultron is probably number 2.
There you go.
And for Captain America, like you said, you just watched it. Did you see those Penske auto truck scenes? Or
yes,
whatever?
I did. I do not buy for a second that that's the Punisher. I've heard that rumor online that the Penske auto truck that takes out 2 of the cop cars during the Nick Fury chase in the street, right, that is supposed to be being driven by Frank Castle, who, if you know your comic book lore, is the Punisher. I don't buy it for a bit. I don't think that's how you'd introduce that character, even in a cameo way, as a tease. Yeah. That's not how you introduce a character like that, who has that much history. I mean, even just from the way it was worked, even watching it, because I was in my head, actually, when I watched it last night, there's no way he would have known and timed it right. From knowing that he was going to go down that street, that Fury was going to hit the brakes, and let the cars go past him and hit him at that time. No, I don't buy it.
So do you believe it possibly might be another ally? Like
I don't believe it's anyone but a random truck driver who hit 2 cop cars in the street. I don't believe it's any character. I don't believe it's any one character in the Marvel Universe. I believe it's just simply a
Good Samaritan.
Not even that. It was an accident.
Well, he was in 2 scenes, wasn't he?
No, it's a different truck. I looked at it.
You checked the license plate?
Yeah, I checked the license plate, the registration, PIN number, everything. It's registered to Joe Schmo over in Newark. And, yeah, in Jersey. We are thinking about doing a show. Please let us know in your comments what you think about this. We are thinking about doing a commentary show, a movie commentary show. Basically, if you're a fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000, which I am, it'd be kind of like that. We're going to watch a movie together, the 3 of us, Benjamin, Tommy, and myself, and we're going to comment through the film. Our thoughts, likes, dislikes, maybe some jokes, some randomness, It will not be edited. We'll go the full length of the film, so from beginning to end. If you own whatever film we're watching at that time, feel free to pop it in and start with us and watch with us. And leave your comments in the comments of that show. I will let you know when we are going to start this. Right now we're picking out ideas for films, time frames, what style, when we're going to do it, when we're going to have time. Obviously, if we have other stuff we do outside of this, unfortunately.
You're looking for the pre-84.
Yes, we're looking for anything from 1984 or older. So if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comment box. Movies you would like to do a commentary for. Because, honestly, I love commentary tracks on films. That's one of my favorite things about DVDs, is hearing a director's commentary, a writer's commentary, or an actor's commentary. And some of these movies don't have them. By choice of the director, by choice of the studio, by whomever. They just choose not to do it. And to me, it's disappointing. And when I hear the whole excuse, or not even excuse, but just the thing of, well, I want to let the movie speak for itself. I want to hear what it was like for you to make the film. What did you feel on this day? I want to know how long it took you to write this, what kind of heart and emotion went into it. I mean, I'm not going to get that from the film necessarily, because when I see the film, I'm going to get what I get from it, not what you get from it.
Right. And sometimes when people say, let the movie speak for itself, you watch a movie and you're like, what the hell just happened? And that's like, it's kind of one of those things.
With bad films that don't have a commentary
like
at all.
you could Netflix, get the DVD or something, you could watch the commentary and you'd say, okay, was this director even sober at the time, or what the hell did he do with this? Because there's parts of this film that I just question, and sometimes commentary track can give you a bit of insight. And
I'm still trying to figure out the human centipedes.
Don't. You're better off just not knowing at all. I mean, like for me, a movie I would love a commentary track for, because I've heard so many bad stories out of it. Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, that was one of my favorites.
I enjoy it. It's a guilty pleasure film for me. I have it. It's on my rack.
It is a guilty pleasure.
I do watch it. We tried to watch it one night, and we got through like the first 5 minutes.
No, we got.
We got to 20 minutes.
We got all the way to the alternate dimension.
Yeah, we got into the other dimension.
But one we didn't even get started on.
Batman Robin. Oh man.
We watched the trailer. We're like,
that one
let's watch something else.
Track.
That's a commentary track.
And
it's one of those movies I'm kind of curious. It's like, what do they even say on the commentary track?
Right? What can you say?
But at the same time, I'm like, would I be really... I mean, yes, you do listen to the commentary
paying attention
track.
to what he's saying?
Yeah, would I be paying attention to what he's saying, or be like paying attention to Arnold Schwarzenegger Batman puns and stuff?
Bat nipples. I know somebody's going to just recommend Ben-Hur. And we're going to sit for 4 hours.
Ben-Hur is awesome. So you know what? We'll get 10 Commandments.
Ooh.
There you go.
Man, Cherry's
Yul Brynner.
We're going to be here for hours.
Right?
Days, even.
One that I hope you agree with this one. Jaws. I want to do one for Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because I know Spielberg, unfortunately, does not do commentary tracks for his films. I really don't know why.
Oh, wow.
And it makes me sad. None of his movies have commentary. None of Indiana Jones, Lincoln, War of the Worlds, none of them have it. And I wish they did, because that's someone I would love to listen to talk about a film. About their film as I watch it. That's one I would love to hear, instead of listening to Michael Bay talk about Dark of the Moon.
That's right, Chief. We're going to need a bigger runtime, though.
That's fine. So yeah, if it is a longer film, we will obviously split the show into 2 parts. You get a 2-parter. So hey, you not only get a movie you like, but you get 2 times the fun with us. We're going to end our show today with a movie quote of the day, coming to you from 1988. It's a horror comedy that I enjoy that is a lot of fun. I myself am strange and unusual. That is our movie quote of the day. If you do know the movie, the character, the actor, or actress, please leave it in the comments section. Let us know. If you like this video, if you like hearing our show, please let us know by subscribing to our page, by liking the video itself, by leaving comments, suggestions, thoughts in the comments box. I'd love to thank my guests today, Benjamin Briggs and Ty Metropolis.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us. This has been CineMunn Podcast. I'm Vince Munn. Find us on Twitter at CineMunn. We'll see you next time.